Welcome to the No More Wasted Days podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and today I get to sit down and chat with Beth Feraco from Beth Feraco Fitness. Beth quit drinking almost 11 years ago, and today she shares her story of quitting drinking and then diving into fitness, where now she actually coaches people on their weight loss journey that is actually a sustainable weight loss journey and becomes a lifestyle. And I'm not talking about when people say, oh, this is a lifestyle, not a diet, and it actually is very much a diet. She is the real deal, and she's going to teach you how to incorporate in what we call the boring habits, like, getting enough sleep and doing workouts that actually fit your lifestyle and learning how to eat in a way that benefits you and makes you the most healthy. I had a blast talking to Beth, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Before we dive all the way into today's episode, I want to remind you that you can hop into the Daymakers community at any time. You can try out your first 2 weeks for $7 just to see if it's a good fit for you. What is the Daymakers community? It's my online community where I have people come together that are on an alcohol-free journey. We have a private text community, so you're never alone on this journey, and we have weekly group coaching calls where I walk you through a specific topic we're focusing on for the week, and then you can actually ask me anything you want to while we're on those coaching calls to help you along on your alcohol-free journey. If you're looking for an alcohol-free family that totally gets you, the Daymakers may just be your place. So check out the link in the show notes of this episode so you can start your 2-week trial today to see if it's a good fit for you. Now, let's dive into this episode with Beth Feraco. Welcome to the podcast, Beth.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you, and I'm going to just dive right into it because I have been
Yeah.
following you, I think, for about a year, and I know you were showing up on my
Okay.
news feed before that, just your random things, and they were all like, they would be you talking about, you're not going to drink a Diet Coke, but you're going to drink alcohol every single night. And I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
like this lady. Because when I quit drinking, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I wasn't drinking soda. I can't believe I was
Right.
on this quest to be so healthy. And then I would drink every single night. So
I'm like,
I know, right? I'm like, I'm
I
not alone.
know.
So at what point did you notice the mismatch between your goals and your drinking? And when did it become impossible to ignore? Because I know you were on a health journey while you were
Mhm.
still drinking. And
Oh,
you can
yeah.
correct me
I
if
was
I'm
always on a
wrong.
health journey.
I
I
know.
was always on a health journey. Yeah.
So
I was
when did
always
you
on a
kind of go,
fat
well,
loss
shit?
journey.
Yeah, me too.
I think when it was my disease, my alcoholism was just kind of taking over everything else. I had disordered eating intertwined with my alcohol. So the alcohol was always like the number one, right? But I would have these I need to stop drinking moments because I would just have 4 days of a binge, wake up and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. The typical on and off, right? And
Yep.
so I would find diets. I'd be like, you know what, let's try paleo. I think because you can't drink, or it was like Whole30, or diets that would have no alcohol involved. So I would
Yes.
do those. Then, of course, I would start drinking always. I would do fast. So I would stop drinking and I was return to drinking. So it was just always a battle between trying to quit drinking with some kind of crazy diet. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, I was still also like orthorexic, like giving my husband shit for eating ice cream. Meanwhile, I'm drinking like a bottle or two of wine a night. So, and none of it made sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I can, when people are in my comment section and the things that they say, I'm like, that was me. Everything you guys are saying when you're like, oh, Diet Coke is poison. It's, yeah, okay, but the alcohol isn't. Tell me that how
Exactly.
it makes any sense. But when you're an alcoholic, that drink is like your number one, your best friend. You will talk it up as if you guys have conversations together. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Oh,
wild,
yeah.
right?
Yes. I mean, it was
The
my
way we
best friend.
idolize the
Yeah.
alcohol, right?
Yeah.
What can I do? What am I going to do without it?
Yeah.
That was probably why it took me so long to quit. Is because it's like, yeah, but no, alcohol is like my BFF. I needed all. I needed it to cook. I
Mhm.
needed it to de-stress, literally from everything.
Yeah. No, I was
So,
exactly the same way. And I love when you say you found diets that removed it. When you say that, I was like, oh, that's like a wake up call for me 7 years into being sober. And I'm like, I did that because I would do this. I was a beach body coach and
mhm,
I would do their 21-day ultimate reset. And you couldn't drink on
yeah.
the ultimate reset. And it wasn't like I enjoyed the night. I always noticed the benefits. And I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
great. I feel good. I'm sleeping better. But you were supposed to do then 3 weeks to back out of it, and I never did that. I was just
Mhm.
like, "All right, we are
Yeah.
back to drinking." I did 3 weeks, and
Right.
And then you could use that to even reason, "I don't have a problem because I quit for 3 weeks.
Mhm.
So, I'm totally fine because I can do this thing."
Yeah.
Did you do the thing where if it was Paleo or South Beach, that really dates me,
Mhm.
but in South Beach, you could drink red wine only, and
Mhm.
I held on to that even though I drank
Oh my gosh, that's
everything,
too funny.
but I was always like,
Right.
"I'll just stick to red wine. I'll it's fine."
I would have my moments where I would do, okay, no beer. Beer is too fattening.
Yep, too many calories in that one.
Only clear liquor.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean, it was always something, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and it was just like, no, it actually is the alcohol, doesn't matter what kind, because I always binge ate later. Because I
Yeah.
was drinking so much, I would have to have the entire house of food so I wouldn't throw up and be a complete mess.
So did
Yeah.
you ditch alcohol before you stopped and went, "Orthorexia is a problem for me"? Which one came
Mhm.
first for you? Quitting the alcohol first or realizing
Yeah,
that you had disordered
alcohol.
eating? Okay.
Alcohol came first, and then the realization after I therapy and going through all the things that I went through to not drink, the steps, all that stuff. That's when I had aha moments. Oh my God. I had so much disordered eating intertwined with my alcoholism. It was crazy. And
Yeah.
my mom, growing up with my mom who was always dieting, that's kind of like where it started. And as my dad passed away 4 days before I graduated high school, and that kind of sent me off into a tangent, like
Yeah.
leaving the home, working in bars, and that's kinda I never dealt with that. So that was kinda like where the drinking started coming in, and I was always
Okay.
that young girl
Yeah.
that had the dad that passed away, and of course, from my mom having disordered stuff that she did, I kinda took that on, and that was like my one of my vices along with the alcohol, is like control.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you say that, the control piece, that's what I started to notice. Because when I quit, I told myself, "Okay, you can eat whatever you want to right now, and then you can rein it back in." And so I did probably 70-ish days of just I'll eat whatever, and it was amazing, and I was like when I quit, thought, "I'll probably lose some weight because that was just this part of my brain
Mhm.
still working. And then I did. I lost a little bit. I was pretty thin already though, and then I decided I'm gonna dial it in. 70 days, okay, I'm gonna eat so perfect. I'm gonna eat in these little
Mhm.
color-coded containers that Beachbody
Oh, yep.
had, and I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I stuck to my
Mhm.
little 1,200 calorie thing and wasn't drinking and got definitely lost weight, but then I had to pull back from that and kinda do all this unlearning, and it's been a very hard process. People like you have really helped me, and
Oh,
it's like I
thanks.
just I and it's like I got really intentional with my algorithm, and I was like, "I'm gonna follow people who
Yeah.
talk about eating and talk about being able to
Mhm.
eat everything, and food has no moral value." And it was all
Yeah.
very but it was definitely quitting drinking allowed me to see how
Yeah.
fucked up it was that I would save my calories for beer. I
Oh,
was
same.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god." I'm like, "How
Wow.
about you
Yeah.
nourish your body instead," right?
Right?
So you did
I
AA when
know.
you quit, right?
I did. And it'll be 11 years in August.
That's awesome.
AA was all I knew
Mhm.
because the internet, there wasn't really much sobriety in social media. I kind of wasn't in social media then anyway. I think it's more there now. There's a lot more support in different areas. So AA was all I knew. It was down the street from my house, and one day, like, it was my wedding anniversary, and I was at, like, a day barbecue. My husband was actually working, so I had the 2 kids with me. I had my stepdaughter and my son at the time was, like, 3. My stepdaughter was, like, maybe 6 or 7, and I had the bottle of wine, and I drove back home that day with the kids.
Yeah.
And nothing happened, everyone was safe, but that was my wake-up call, and I'm like I blocked it out, like, I don't remember. My husband was pissed off at me, it was our anniversary, I remember puking. It was just a shit show, and I just said, "What if I got in an accident and fucking killed my stepdaughter and my son, or somebody else?" I'm like, "This is it, like, I can't even take a chance anymore, I've gone this far," and I was, like, so fucking scared because I started envisioning, like, life in prison, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I was like, I know there's an AA meeting down the street. It's at 7 a.m. And I just decided to go on, I think, August 21st, 2015. And I walked in and I was so fucking scared because it's like AA to me and that time in my life was like, once you go there, for some reason,
Yeah.
AA had this like stigma.
Oh, it does.
Oh my God, I have to admit I'm an alcoholic.
Yes.
Like it was like the worst thing to me, but it saved my life. And so I walked in and I met this girl, Alicia, and Elise, she took me in. She's, hey, is this your first time? I'm like, yeah. And I started crying. She's like, everyone here is super kind. You're in the right place. She was just so nice. I was so glad I met her for the first, like a young, not like old man in their 70s, like, you know what I mean? And so she ended up being my sponsor, and I went every day for a year.
That's awesome.
And the reason I stopped going to AA, because I think this is important, totally believe in AA, don't wanna take it away from anybody that goes. But for me, I felt like I was growing, and everyone in there was repeating the same stories.
Mm,
And I'm like, and I'm just learning about the way we speak to ourselves and all that stuff matters, right? And I'm
yes.
like, I keep walking in there. My name is Beth. I'm an alcoholic. I'm this, I'm that. And I was just like growing out of that. And I'm like, I wanted to say, I'm Beth. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I'm recovering. I'm moving, like, I'm doing things. I'm building a business. I started this. And I felt just everyone was rehashing the same thing over and over again. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to continue my sobriety elsewhere and do online, and that's when I started noticing more things, but that was my experience, and AA did save my life for a
Yeah.
fact, yeah.
I know I was very afraid of AA and I haven't ever done AA, but now I'm like, "Oh my god, I've met so many people now that have done it." I wish that I
Yeah,
would have had that in my life when I was a drinker because I was just so afraid. I was like, "Oh, if you go to AA, you have to tell everybody you're an alcoholic." And I was like, "I
yeah,
don't know if I am an
that's the
alcoholic."
worst thing.
I was like,
Right.
"I don't know if I am." So I was like, "That counts me out." And then I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, if I go, I have to go to a meeting every day." And of course, I will
Mhm.
always use the excuse that I'm too busy for anything. So I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
able to do that." But and now I always look and I'm like, it's an amazing thing where you can go
Yeah.
meet sober people. And of course you're scared when you quit.
Yeah.
Everybody's scared when they start this journey
Mhm.
because alcohol was our
Yeah.
best friend. And you're just like,
Right.
if you're like me, I didn't know
You're
who I
having
was without it.
Yeah, you have to learn how to create a new identity, right? And
Yeah.
that's the same thing that I talk about with actually people building a new lifestyle, getting healthy, getting strong, getting fit. That's also creating a new identity
Yes.
because you're changing who you are from your bad habits, you're creating new habits. And the same thing with drinking, you're getting rid of that one really bad habit. And that's a big one that takes a lot of work.
It does take and the alcohol thing takes continual work, and I always tell myself
Yeah.
it's the same like you were saying, it's the same thing with health and fitness, and I always tell myself, "I'm gonna be on this journey for the rest of my life." So it's not a diet,
Hmm.
it's just a, I wanna be strong, I wanna be healthy, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
do these little things sprinkled throughout
Yeah.
my day. So
Right.
did you notice did you start working out more with a community after you quit drinking, or was that already
Mm.
part of it, and did that community give you a home? Because I think community is so important. I know you had AA, but
Yeah.
then did you also find the workout community started being that piece for you?
I actually did. When I first began AA, at the same time, I just so happened to meet this girl, Allison, who was doing these boot camp type outdoor things because it was summer. And she's like, hey, everyone want to meet at 5 a.m. And I was like, yeah, I need something to do. So I met at 5 a.m. and we did this outdoor stuff and we met at playgrounds. And she got me into running because we would warm up with running. And she was a runner and she was a trainer and she just liked doing stuff with other people like outside. And so I started meeting her. She actually was another sober person, and I ended up becoming a runner. I ended up doing 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and then I trained for a marathon that never happens because COVID.
Mm,
I That's what ultimately led me into becoming a coach is because I got into running so much in that community of the running community. But then Alice had actually got a job somewhere else and we couldn't meet anymore. And I'm like, I need something to do that's like before AA. And there just so happens to be a gym that opened up literally across the street from the
oh
AA,
my
like
gosh.
right in town. I know. And they had classes at 6 a.m. And I'm like, that's 45
Perfect.
minutes. I'm like, "Oh my god, I can go to my class and I can go right to AA." So, I started taking classes at that gym where I ultimately started working at. I started working at the front desk and then I started interning to become a coach. So that is how that all started.
Oh, that's so cool. It's like everything fell into
Yeah,
place the way it's supposed
it
to.
kinda did. It
Mhm.
did, yeah. I was just me taking the action steps so yeah, I was like full circle, I guess, because I did when I quit not quit. when I moved to Arizona, this is after my dad passed away and stuff. My first stop was Arizona. And I was like, I'm going to go to college for nutrition. I want to be a nutrition major.
Mhm.
That didn't last long because I ended up quitting college, moving to San Diego. And that's when the bars and all that stuff happened. So this was full circle. When I did start to coach at that gym, my first thing that I got educated in was nutrition
Oh, that's
before
cool.
even the personal trainer, because going to the gym, I started noticing a pattern with women, including myself, that they were all working really hard and they would all complain about not losing weight. And I'm like, this is so interesting. And of course, at the same time, getting certified nutrition, I'm starting to work with mentors and I'm learning about calories and tracking and weighing and measuring your food. And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is exactly what's going on. They're doing all these crazy diets. They're not understanding they're over consuming portions." Because when I started learning about that, I started applying it, and that's when I started to see results.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That was I had to figure out everything went hand in hand. It's, "Oh, okay." And really the nutrition was, like, more important than the working out. I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh." And I was like,
Oh, I
"That's a big
know.
pain," because but then I also
I
figured out
know.
you can actually eat some Cheetos every now and then.
Eh,
Cheetos are my vice. I went
I
through a
love
big
Cheetos, the puffy or crunchy.
I will do both, but I prefer the crunchy. Like,
Yeah, I prefer the puffy.
they're totally I
Oh
would
my god, they rip the tops of
oh,
my mouth
yes,
so
because you have
much.
to squeeze them down. There's a hole.
Yeah, I love
I'm
Cheetos.
always just like,
Yes,
I know
good
there's
choice.
nothing good in them, but they were my sneaky
Who
food for a
cares?
while, so I quit
Uh-huh.
drinking, and it's like, whenever I'm not with my family, I'm like, I'm getting a little bag of Cheetos, and I'm eating it in the car, and no one's gonna know about it, and my husband laughs because when I find cash, I'm like, "Cheeto money," because I always tell him, I'm like, "I don't want you to know that I'm buying my Cheetos because 'cause I'm just a little addict over here squirreling away
That's
my cash."
hilarious.
And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh." And then I was like, "You gotta get control of your Cheeto addiction." It's just and I kept
Oh,
being like,
it's
"It's not the
funny.
most serious thing," and I was like, "It's becoming serious." So a lot of what you will talk about you talk about hormones because I know, myself
Mhm.
included, I love to use the excuse of, "It's my hormones." I feel like my kids hear that all the time when I can't think of words. I'm like, "Don't be
Mm.
mean to me. I'm in perimenopause. I'm in the hardest part of my
Yeah,
life." But
right.
I know now after a bunch of research that alcohol is terrible for you during perimenopause or during any of it. It's terrible for you
Yeah.
anyway, but it throws your hormones so off. So when alcohol is still part of the picture, what are ways that it interferes with even body composition or weight loss goals too? And then sleep and appetite and recovery, like
Yeah.
all the things. What do you see are the main things that it really interferes with that?
I think with people's choices, right?
Mhm.
Choices, sleep, let's see if they're energetic, but mostly like just their goals. Because I don't think people realize that, yes, you can include alcohol and still lose fat. People do it all the
Yeah.
time, but those people are not binge drinking on the weekends.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They're having like a
Yeah.
glass of wine, like one day a week. But we're talking like we'll have clients that are trying to track 5+ drinks a night on the weekend. And then they're upset because they're not reaching their goals. They want to live their life, as they say, but
Yeah.
that your actions have to match your goals. And what people don't understand is that fat loss will take the back seat because your body's trying to process alcohol, which is a poison, right?
Mhm.
It's no, we got to get rid of this. We have to get this is poisonous. We got to get it out of here. And so fat loss, it's that your body's not working on that. So every time you're doing that, it's like you're delaying your progress.
Yeah.
And then you might not work out the next day. You're getting in fights with your husband. You're creating stress within your home. And it's just everything is like a clusterfuck of dominoes. When if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have any of these issues. And so and also with menopause, it's like pouring gasoline. You'll have more hot
Yes.
flashes. Like the hot flashes will be insane.
Mhm.
And I've heard women, I've cut back on the alcohol, my hot flashes are gone.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So it's just, why don't you give it a chance? But this is when people start to get really upset we don't tell people not to drink. But who am I to say you should stop? You need to stop right now, or
Yeah.
you're not coaching with me.
I only coach sober
Just
people.
no, of course we work with you, but when it's taking over or you're getting upset and mad and it's that we need to have a conversation. Do you think this is maybe more of a problem than you think? And of course, we'll have people do challenges. Let's see, 2 weeks, 14 days. Just go without that. And some people are like, let's do it. And some
Yeah.
people are all gung ho. And a lot of people have actually quit drinking coming through us, not thinking that was going to be the issue. We just had one girl who became a year sober. And I cannot believe she's lost 50 pounds this year. She's changed her life. She didn't realize how much alcohol was a problem for her. And that's the thing I think a lot of people don't realize
Yeah.
that it's a problem
Hmm.
because why would you want to be like, yeah, it is a problem? And that's a hard thing.
Right.
It is, and it's an addictive substance, and people seem to think that I can moderate, but when you're trying to moderate, you're not.
Mhm.
What is moderation for me was a bottle of wine.
I know
I'd be like,
moderation.
"Yeah, I
Ugh.
can drink in moderation,"
Yeah.
but what does that even mean? The dosage makes the poison, but 1 dose is poison.
Yeah. Exactly. I always just tell myself, I'm like, I
So,
don't know. And when people are like, you should learn how to moderate, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. Like, that's what I
didn't
was,
think about moderating a poison,
I was
yeah.
like, that's what I tried to do for the last 3 years of my drinking. Are you kidding
Right.
me? I always get so irritated.
Mhm.
What if you just
Yeah,
moderated? I'm like, oh my God.
yeah. And
S-
people get so defensive.
Oh, they do.
When you start getting defensive, I had one woman in my comments, she was like, "I can run this much. I'm stronger than you, and I drink." And I was like, "Okay, are you really trying to compare your stats right now?" She was
No.
like, "I have whatever her cardiovascular is like, or her whatever she was talking about." She just went through stats. I was like, "That's nuts."
You're like,
Okay.
congratulations. And we've moved.
Congratulations, that's what I did. I said, "You win a medal. You're stronger than me." And I put a little medal in the
Oh my
comment.
God. I love that. I
Okay.
love it so
That's
much. So, what if you look at it, I know you help women realize that we don't need extreme diets anymore. It's
right.
just a matter of stay doing the boring shit every day. You'll
Yeah.
always talk about that. And I'm always like, okay, I'll do it.
Oh,
And
shut up. I'll do it.
I went through a phase with your content where I was like, oh, just shut up. When you were like, if you're
I'm
not
sure.
losing
I
weight,
tell
you're
myself to shut up too.
when you're not losing weight, you're probably not in a calorie deficit. And I'm like, fuck you. And I was like, and then I was like, oh, I'm not. Like, oh,
Damn
look,
it. You're right.
if I do track and see, yep, okay, okay. And now it does make it easier because I go, you're just maintaining right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. And you'll get back on the
Oh.
weight loss. But what do you think is the
Mhm.
biggest fat loss myth for women? And especially for our women who are stuck still in that binging and restricting cycle, whether it be with
Mm.
alcohol or with eating or both, because I feel like it can be where you just cut loose on the weekend. What do you think that fat loss myth is that we all hang on to?
That you're broken or that it's outside of your control. I think
Mm,
that's everyone thinks that it's outside of their control, and really it's you. And
yeah.
that's the hardest fucking thing to admit. But when I started understanding how it worked, I became more enlightened instead of
Mhm.
upset about it. I was like, if I only knew this fucking 10 years ago, this would have saved so much for me. But so many people get defensive and upset, right? But if you're really wanting to take a look and change your life, you're going to embrace it. You're going to be like, you know what? Maybe I'm not doing everything. And that's okay. Like, it's at no fault of anyone else's. I wasn't blaming myself when I finally understood. I was like, "You're such a dick, Beth. I can't believe you didn't know this."
Yeah.
We just do what we know, or we continue to spin our wheels because we literally just take a look at what we're doing and maybe change a few things.
Yeah.
Some people are like, "I don't want to track calories." Maybe because you don't want to actually take into accountability what you're consuming. You don't want to be aware because
Mhm.
that's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary to be like, "Oh shit, I actually am eating too much of this." And
Yeah.
now I have to actually look at that.
Yeah. One
God
thing
forbid.
I know. One thing I did starting in God, it must have been October, I don't even know, but I track on the Lose It app and they do a tracking streak and I'm a girl that's gonna get
Mm.
all into that. And I told myself, you're gonna track for a year. You don't have to eat perfect. You just have to build
Mhm,
this habit. And it sounds obsessive and it sounds crazy, but it's not because I ate crazy over the 4th of July weekend and I
mhm.
just got it in there the best I could because it's really hard to track when
Yeah.
you overeat. But it has built that muscle for me so much. And
Mhm,
like you said, it's all just become data for me. And I can now see it's all up to me. And I can
mhm.
go, what? And even I've told myself I'm on a very slow weight loss journey. I'm not going to
Yep.
try to hurry this along this time. And I'm just going to build the habits. And I've just been really I've been very proud of myself on this. I feel like I maybe turned it into a little bit of an addiction, but not too obsessive.
I think that's great. What you're saying is, like, you are in control,
Yeah,
and also there is no timeline.
yeah, and
So many people, "I need it by this date." Okay.
you gotta ignore the what the app tells you to because it's totally I
Yeah.
always laugh and I look at my
It's
husband, I'm
wrong.
like, "I'll hit my goal in 2029." And he's always like,
Right.
"Amazing." And I'm like, "I know." I'm like, "The time will pass one way or another." And I'm just like, "Oh," like,
Right.
the time I saw that, I was like, "Is that does this say 2029?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Don't look at that at all. Just
Yeah,
track."
don't.
But it
Yeah.
is what allowed me, like, when you said, "If you're not losing weight, you're probably not in a calorie deficit." And I was like, "Yes, I am." And then I went and I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I'm not." Like,
Yeah.
over time, when I look at the full week, I'm really not. And
Yeah.
it was very helpful, actually. So I love that it's
Yeah.
just not a quick fix. And
Uh,
yeah, it's just a thing we do. This is what I tell
mhm.
myself. It's just like brushing my teeth now at this point.
Mhm.
So if
Yeah.
women do have this desire to finally fix their body,
Mhm.
right? And that can be physically or even mentally, because for a while I did think I'm broken. I can't lose weight. It's menopause, perimenopause.
Mhm.
But how do you help someone pursue becoming fit AF and getting stronger or losing weight without recreating the same all or nothing thinking? Because that is,
Mm.
I think, what's so hard.
Yeah, because something is better than nothing,
Mm,
right? And I think that a lot of people try to do or emulate other people's schedules,
yeah.
right? Like you
Yes.
see someone online, oh, she works out 5 days a week. I need to too. Is fitness your job?
Yeah.
No, right? You have a 40-hour work week. You have 5 kids. There's no, why would you try to work out 5 days a week? So it's the unrealistic expectations of what you should do. And that also keeps people from being successful,
Mm,
right? They're like, I can't be successful with working out. What did you try to do? 5 days a week. I just can't do it. Why are you trying to do 5 days a week? Because that's the only way you can have success. It's who told you that. Kind of thing. So it's like digging deeper and asking the questions. And it's, you can get a good workout in for 2 days a week. But you
yeah.
don't need to be a fitness influencer. And it's like you need to maintain muscle, build some muscle, improve bone density, and this is for long-term health, right? Just think of it like that. And that's when it's okay, you get some relief understanding that you don't have to do things extremely. You do things that fit your life. How can you fit walking into your life? You don't necessarily have to do an hour walk straight a day. It's in fact it's better if you break everything up and go do these little mini snack walks, I call them, all throughout the day. Things like that. It's like building, like, you don't have to have these specific vegetables if you don't like them, but you should eat vegetables. Find vegetables you like. And no specific food is going to be like your magic fix. People really look at what I eat and they're like, why aren't you're eating cream of rice? Why not cream of wheat? I'm like, because I don't like cream of wheat. Like,
You're
no
like, "'Cause
big
that's what I
deal. Like,
like." Yeah.
you can eat the cream of wheat if you want, but it's always, why aren't you eating that? You're having that. It's because I like it. And people don't understand nutrition really is a one size fits all.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the biggest thing is understanding that you're going to build a lifestyle that you can stick to, not that your friend is sticking to. Your boring and basic habits are going to look different than your friends.
Yes. And stop comparing yourself to people on the internet that you
Yes.
don't even know.
God, please. Yeah.
'Cause I'm always do you don't even know them. They may be so
Mhm.
irritated with their
Y-
5-day-a-week schedule or their 7-day-a-week schedule,
Yeah.
and they might be so run down from it. And it's
Mhm.
just kinda, oh my gosh. Because I even think
Yeah.
about, like, when I was doing Beachbody, I was doing my workouts hungover. Because
Right.
we were trained to you do your workout and you show your workout online and you better get that done each day. And it's
Mm.
just, oh my God. I was a part of a cult. I do see that now. But that was so hard to break mentally. And it was so hard
Yeah.
to realize I can work out 3 times a week and that is
Right.
okay. And I would be like, oh, I'm not
Yeah.
going to get the results I want. I'm like, yeah, over time you are.
You will.
It's that slow stuff. And it is so much
Yeah.
mindset, isn't it? We get just in there.
It's so in our head that we become paralyzed.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's part of it too. You hear so much, everything's coming at you, and it's because
Mhm.
even when I was breaking away from, "Okay, I'm not gonna do these stupid containers anymore. What am I gonna do?" And I had never really tracked calories, and I was like, "It's gonna take so much time to relearn something new." I had done Weight Watchers. I was really good at those
Mhm.
points, and I had done my containers, and then I was like, "How do you even do calories?" And it was such a new thing, and then people are talking about
Yeah.
macros, and I was like, "Oh my god." I'm supposed to
Yeah.
also track macros, and that's when I kinda said, "Just do one piece at a time,"
Yes.
and start going, "Okay, this is getting easier. I'm figuring this out now."
Mhm.
And it really is, you get into that paralysis mode where you're just like, "I don't know what to do, so I'm not
Mhm.
gonna do anything."
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, oh my god. Or if I'm not gonna do it
Mhm.
right, then I don't wanna do it, and I just there's
And that's
no.
all or nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's like,
If I can't do it right, I'm not doing it at all.
yeah, I'm just not doing it, and I'm always like, "Okay." So your work definitely goes beyond workouts and meal plans for people.
Yeah.
When a woman comes to you saying, "I just need to lose weight," What are you listening to underneath that request? And how do you actually help your clients
Mm.
build in the relationship with food and fitness for themselves?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I'm trying to think. There's so much to it, I
Yeah, I
think.
know.
I
And
think
it
when
probably
people
takes
come
so
to
much
us
time.
yeah, when people come to us, they're like, "I just wanna lose weight. I wanna lose weight now, today." You know what I'm saying? And it's like we have to do so much more than, "Here's your calories and this is it." It's, "Okay, what have you been doing? Like, how long have you been doing it?" Sometimes it's not we're not gonna start you losing weight right away. Sometimes it might be like, "We need to fix your sleep first, because if your sleep is shit, you're not gonna lose weight like you think." Because there's all these things that we look at. Okay, are you in a good space to do that right now? Because you might not be in a good space to lose weight. Maybe you've been yo-yo dieting and you've been eating 1,200 calories for fucking year, which, mind you, doesn't really usually happen. But we have to sometimes walk people through maybe like adding calories to get them more comfortable
Yeah.
with being in a space of eating more. There's different things that we do. But ultimately, we it comes down to, like, your why. Like, why is it you want to lose weight? For who? For what? And it really just starts there, and we build from there.
Yeah. And you're able to look at the whole person and not
Yeah, you
just,
gotta look at the whole person, and that's the whole thing because this is a you're we're helping you build a lifestyle you can stick to forever. When you come to us, it's not like you come and we're like, "Yep, see you later. You lost your weight. You're done." But there's a lot of work involved.
yeah,
'Cause
right?
when you leave us, we want you to never have to deal with this again. We want you to have the tools that it takes to be able to know when to make your swaps, to know when to do this. Just you'll have education about you and your body and how your body responds and all different things. Tools to go to parties and give yourself like a I'm only going to have one drink tonight. You got to give yourself boundaries. There's all these
Yeah.
things that you didn't even think about
Yeah.
that you learn.
I love that you say, when you leave
Yeah.
us, we want you to never have to do this again.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Or if you, let's say you just so happen you had a rough time and someone died and but you're gonna know what and you overate for
yeah.
6 months, but you're gonna know what to do. You're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "You know what? I know what I did. I know what to do now."
You've got the
And you're not
tools.
gonna be like, "I'm gonna go do some crazy fad diet again." And you're just gonna be like, "Yeah, I just was eating more than I expected. I was grieving, and I knew that I needed to maybe track my calories again and get outside and start moving and things like that." Yeah, the simple
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I love that, just that it's just I just love that you just, like, touch on the longevity of it, and it's just
Yeah.
so helpful to me, and it's gonna take time, and there's
Mhm.
a lot of working parts with our body, and
Yeah.
especially if you were a drinker for a while, I feel like there's so much unlearning around all the things that were so messed up with your drinking
Mhm.
habits, and then that translates in so many women I work
Yeah.
with are going, "Am I gonna lose weight when I quit drinking?" And I'm always
I
like, "No, maybe."
that
Like,
wasn't a focus for me, which is
really?
interesting because before I quit, that was such a focus. I need to lose
Oh,
weight. But for
everything
when
for
I
me
walked to
was.
that AA meeting, what was more important to me was quitting drinking.
Yeah, it was finally that
And
was the thing.
when I yeah, when I got into running, I wasn't really running to lose weight. I was running because quitting drinking was hard as fuck and I needed something. I needed an outlet.
I
That was
love
that
that.
dopamine hit that I was getting because you get that
Yeah,
runner's high. It really
yeah,
did help me. Exercise for recovering alcoholics is probably the best thing you could do for yourself.
yeah.
That's why you'll see a lot of recovering alcoholics that are doing ultra marathons. They're into a lot of that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's a hard thing and it keeps that addict mind just
It does. It's like, why take your
Mhm.
addiction mindset and use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell myself. I'm like,
Mhm.
"Go get addicted to something else that's really healthy." And then I'm like,
I
"Oh,
feel like
okay."
a lot of addicts, people that I've known are the what smart as fuck people.
Yeah, but because you have to
Like
be.
brilliant people.
Yeah, you had to be so sneaky with your drinking, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Okay, I'm not doing that anymore. I gotta put all of this brain energy that went into
Yeah.
drinking somewhere else." And
Mhm.
it's always crazy to me because I did the running thing while I was still drinking. And
Mm.
when quit drinking, I was like, "Oh, you should get back into running," and it just never clicked again for me. And I had to really be like, "It's okay. You did your
Yeah.
marathon. You did that part already, so now you
Mhm.
can go do other crazy things." And I'm like, "Okay." But I always tell people too, like, when you're going through halt and it's, "Are you hungry, angry, lonely, tired?"
Right.
I'm like, "If you're angry, you go move your body. That's what you're gonna go
Mhm.
do. And it's gonna process emotions that you don't know how to process right now. And it's just gonna let your
Yeah.
body move it out of you." So I ask this question to all of my guests at the end. So, what does the idea of no more wasted days mean to you?
I love that. I love that question because I wasted so many days. And when I mean wasted so many days, I wasted so many days sleeping from being so hungover, not doing what I was meant to do in life. Everything I did was wasted, I feel like. And now becoming no more wasted, I am not wasting any days. I wake up when the sun comes up. Every moment of my life is, I try to make the most out of everything now. It's like I look at things differently, things that I would take for granted. Now I am just like, I am so grateful I live here. I just
Yeah.
stepping out of that victim mindset. I was a victim of
Yeah.
everything. I was a lot of wasted years of being a victim.
Yeah, and you get to step out of it and you get to go into this gratitude mindset, which sounds so
Yeah.
cheesy, but really you just like when you said, I'm so grateful for every single day. I think that all the time.
Yeah.
Even on the days where I'm like, oh, this has been a shitty day. I'm always like,
Mhm.
at least you didn't drink today.
Yeah, seriously, because what is that saying? Your worst day sober is some
Is
I
always
don't know, that's
better than your yeah, I know what you're saying. I know the
best day
saying.
drunk or
Yeah,
something.
it's something like that.
It's so true though. It's so
Is
true.
because people will always be like, "Oh my gosh, but do you have FOMO?" And I'm like, "No, I don't because
No.
I did that. And I know what that looks
I
like
yeah.
for me.
Mhm.
That doesn't look like a fun life because I've already done it and I know what the hangovers feel like and I'm not going back
Yeah.
to that." And it's,
I
ugh.
couldn't imagine having a hangover like I've had before. I don't want it.
Oh
No,
my
thank you.
God. I don't even know how I did
No,
it.
thank
I'm
you.
always like, "How did I do that?" I'm like, "You don't have to figure that
I
out
don't even
anymore.
know.
Just like
Right.
you get to live your life this way." So this has
Mhm.
been so fun getting to talk to you. And I know my listeners are going to want to know if they don't already follow you, because I'm like, what? You have 500,000 followers now on Instagram, right? Am I making
Yeah,
that up?
close to it. You can find me at Beth Feraco Fitness on Instagram and TikTok. And for coaching, BethFerracoFitness.com.
Perfect. And I will be sure to link everything in the show notes too, so everybody can find you.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come chat with me.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed listening to that episode the way I thought you were going to enjoy it. I know one of the hot topics on my podcast and the most downloaded episodes are the ones where I speak to people who work in health and fitness and are also sober. I think it's just something ingrained in a lot of us that quit drinking and we have to find that next thing. And a lot of times it is fitness. If you don't already, be sure to go follow Beth at Beth Feraco Fitness on Instagram so you can get her daily doses of inspiration on your fitness and wellness journey. She truly is the real deal. She's going to tell it like it is, just like she did on today's episode, and she's going to keep you inspired and motivated to keep doing the boring stuff that keeps you living your best life. And remember to check out the Daymakers if you're looking for that online community to support you on your alcohol-free journey. Lastly, I have one more favor to ask you. If you haven't already, please leave a review for the No More Wasted Days podcast. This is the best way to support the podcast, and it's totally free. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify, you can rate the podcast and also leave comments, which I love to receive, and I always respond to those comments. And if you happen to be listening on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and leave me a comment to let me know what you thought about this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and I will be in your ear in the next one.